Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Ellie and I've just finished my degree studying part 3 of the mathematical tripos at the University of Cambridge, and as I say in all of my videos, that's just a fancy way of saying that I study a maths masters. So today was Wednesday the 23rd of March and it was very much a reset day for me. It was putting away clothes that I'd washed, doing some washing up, just generally getting my room tidy because I was planning on spending the day studying in my room. And today was a day working on my dissertation. So for those of you that aren't familiar, Part 3 Maths offers you the chance to write a dissertation, or some people call it a thesis or an essay. And the point of it is that you can do a bit of research, a bit of literature review, and essentially just get prepared for a PhD. Now, you don't have to do a dissertation at Part 3. You can just choose to take an extra exam, which a lot of people do. But for those that take the essay, they usually do better than they would in an exam. So I thought, after how well my dissertation went in my undergrad, I thought it would be a smart move to do the thesis in Part 3, which I was very glad I did. It was actually the module that I scored the highest in, and I was able to get 87% in my thesis, which I cried at. I'm not going to lie, I said that in my previous video. I wasn't expecting to get 87%, and yeah, I put a lot of effort into my dissertation, and today is just showing you a day of me working on my dissertation completely, the entire day working on it. So the first thing I did was grab my breakfast and just get my setup ready for the day. I have people commenting on some of my videos asking why I have a keyboard attached to my laptop when there's already a keyboard there, and it's just because I like the sound of my clicky keyboard. It might be annoying to some other people, but I quite enjoy the sound of it. So this was my essay, wave attractors in rotating and stratified fluid. And wave attractors are essentially a phenomenon that exists in internal waves or inertial waves, and I won't go into too much of the maths or the detail. I will be releasing a full video explaining exactly what I did and going into the depth of all of the maths, but I appreciate a lot of people watch my videos that aren't actually maths students, so I'll give you the title for now and then wait for the other video. I have also been using the Flora app, which is completely free, and it's just a nice way of me remembering to take breaks. Something that I've learned is so important this year is to take breaks. Sometimes you can be on a roll and think, okay, no, I don't want to take 5 minutes. I'm on a roll, it'll be wasting my time. And I've done both. I've done the work all day, I'm on a roll, and then crash the next day. And I've also done the, okay, I don't want to take a break, but I'm going to, and my work is just so much more efficient. So for those of you that may be struggling with burnout or anything along those lines, just generally feeling tired when you study, I recommend using the Flora app or just any Pomodoro technique, really. It really, really helps me. So here I am just checking over parts of my essay, and I apologise, I will call it an essay or a dissertation or a thesis throughout this video, but they essentially mean the same thing. So I was just checking over it, and a part of my Part 3 essay involves a lot of reading. Now, if you do take Part 3 and you are planning on taking an essay, just be warned, there is a lot of reading, so if you don't enjoy reading, then maybe you're best to just take an extra exam. So once my timer had done, I then decided to show you the view from my room, which I always do in all of my videos. The sun was shining. This week has been one of the hottest weeks, I think, of March and maybe the year. It had been so warm. In between studies, I decided to go out and enjoy some of the nice weather in the morning before it got too hot later on in the day. So here I am just getting ready for my walk, and I didn't actually film my walk. I think I forgot to take my camera outside. I just took a quick 5-minute walk around college and then headed back. I then checked if lunch was up, but it wasn't available just yet, and this is where we can see what food is available in hall for lunch and dinner. So I then got back and did a bit more work. Now, what I was doing here was just checking wave reflection properties. Now, for those of you that don't study maths, I'll make this really, really simple. Essentially, when you have, let's say, a ray, let's say if you can remember from physics, when you have a ray that may be in optics or geometrics, there is a reflection law that it satisfies called Snell's law, or Descartes' reflection, I believe. So the angle of reflection equals the angle of incidence. Now, I'm looking at what are known as internal waves, and these are different to rays in optics, and that's because they have a very specific reflection law. Now, the reflection law basically means that the angle with respect to the horizontal or the vertical, depending on how you define the angle, is conserved with respect to that. So you end up having phenomena known as wave attractors, and that's because the way that the reflection law works, you essentially end up having a pattern, and you can see it in these pictures here. You can see a square, and that's because of the reflection properties. So very simply, my dissertation looked at these reflection properties and what happens as a result. I then had done my 15 minutes, so I decided to check through some of my YouTube comments. Now, I really appreciate all of the messages that I've received, both on Instagram and YouTube. I get some really, really lovely comments from everybody, and it honestly makes me so happy. I love reading all your comments, and I just wanted to put in this video and say thank you for all of the lovely comments I have received from you all. Then, as part of my break, I just stood and looked out a lot amongst Cambridge, and I kind of have this thing where I'll just go and see if I can spot anything new in the distance, because I have quite a good view of Cambridge from my room. And once I'd done my sightseeing for the day, I then got back to doing some more of my dissertation. Now, I found my iPad to be really helpful, because what I would do is have my LaTeX already on my laptop, ready to type everything up that I wanted to write for my essay, and then my iPad would essentially have all of the references that I'd be using. It'd have scrap paper, it would have lecture notes that I might be using from other modules, and it was just a really efficient system for me. So what I'm doing here is I'm just cross-checking one of my answers that I'd just been writing, which you've just seen me write, and I believe I actually got this wrong. Now, that just kind of happens in math sometimes. Sometimes you'll spend ages doing something and then you'll be like, hang on, those two things don't add up. And I'm sure on this day I had actually made a mistake, so I went back and did it all again, and it worked perfectly. And I think that's just a lesson to take away in maths, or just in general. Some days you will try things and it won't work, but that doesn't mean it's not going to work in the future. And I guess that's also a life lesson as well to take away. So then I got back and wrote up the findings that I had just found, and then took myself on a little bit of a walk. The gardeners at Sydney keep the grounds looking so pretty. Honestly, if you are in Cambridge and you get a chance to just pop your head in through Sydney Door, do it, because the grounds always look spectacular. The gardeners make such a lovely job of it. Myself, Eleanor and Keshav then grabbed some food from Sainsbury's, and Keshav and I went and sat in Sydney Gardens to enjoy the beautiful weather and a lovely meal deal from Sainsbury's, which Sydney Sussex is opposite Sainsbury's, so it often gets the nickname Sydney Sainsbury's, I think, because every student is always in Sainsbury's. And it may have caused a bit of a dent in my pocket this year, I'm not going to lie, because it's so easy to just pick up chocolate or anything that, you know, brain food, I guess, when you're craving things. But it's been so handy to just have it so close, especially when I do my general shopping as well. So here are the pretty gardens. We then saw Flora and Nathan, who are also postgraduate students at Sydney, and I couldn't help myself. I decided to film the daffodils as well, because they just look so pretty. I'm watching this back after filming this almost 3 months ago, I think, and I miss Sydney when all of the flowers are growing and it's spring. I'm hoping that I'll be able to graduate either autumn this year or spring next year, because I want to graduate with all of my postgraduate friends who don't finish their degrees just yet. So yeah, I'm looking forward to graduating amongst all the pretty flowers in Sydney. So then I got back after lunch and did more dissertation work, much to your surprise. And I really, really enjoyed doing my dissertation this year. It was one of those things that took away from the hardcore intensity of lectures all the time. And I know last year when I did my dissertation in my third year, it really helped break things up. I think it also helps stop burnout. So if you are somebody that has the option to do a dissertation, regardless of whether it's part 3 or any other degree, and it's STEM focused, I think a dissertation is a very nice way of breaking things up. And it's been something that I've just really, really enjoyed this year. I then had a meeting with the head of wellbeing, who I got some flowers for, because she has been phenomenal this year. Everything with my seizures and everything with my physical health. For those of you that know, I've struggled a lot with my physical health this year, and she's been spectacular. It wouldn't be an Ellie video without this classic shot from my room when the sun is shining. So I got back to my room and decided to do a bit more work. But first, priorities were to show you this lovely view, and I'm going to miss it so much. I've been back home a week now, and I still really, really miss being in Cambridge. So for those of you that are taking masters anywhere, just cherish every moment, because, yeah, it soon flies by. I then got an appetizer from Sainsbury's because they were on offer, and the weather was so warm, and did more dissertation work, as I said. I will be releasing a whole video explaining the process and the do's and don'ts of writing part 3 essay, and essentially just how to enjoy writing it. I think, I'm not going to lie, at the start of the year when I'd started doing this essay title, I remember having a bit of a breakdown and just thinking that I couldn't do it, just thinking I wasn't smart enough, thinking that, it wasn't for me and that I couldn't do research. And sometimes you just have to keep going. It's quite easy to get stuck in a rut, but I think I've learned the mistakes, what the do's and don'ts, and hopefully for those of you that are writing a dissertation in STEM or just in general will find that video useful. So if you have any questions about writing a dissertation, pop them in the comment section below and I'll answer them in that video. So here you've just seen loads of pictures on the screen, and most of the images that I used in my dissertation I actually drew myself, which is thanks to my iPad. So apart from the experiments, all of the images in my thesis are actually my own diagrams that I drew. And then it was nearing tea time or dinner time. My friends are always like, what do you mean tea time? Because I'm from the north and most of them are from the south, so they all say dinner. So I'm not really used to calling it dinner time. So it was near enough dinner time, and to distract myself from feeling so hungry, I went for a walk with Keshav, who is one of my closest friends at Cambridge, and he has featured in lots of my videos and lots of my Instagram stories. We went through the small door of Sydney, which I always enjoy coming out of because people look at you like, where have you just come from? Because the door is so small, although I'm quite small, so it probably looks about in proportion to me. But we then took a little bit of a wander around Cambridge, and this is something that I haven't really done enough when revision came round. I did it quite a lot in Michaelmas when things were less intense and I realised the importance of going for walks, but I don't often walk too far unless it's to the library or to somewhere I'm studying, so it was quite nice to just take a stroll in the really nice weather. And King's here looks absolutely beautiful, and this is Senate House, which is where I will be graduating when I graduate, whenever that may be, depending on when my postgraduate friends finish. But like I said before, I'm so excited to graduate and have the whole ceremony. It feels surreal to say that I have a degree from Cambridge now, when I had panicked so much throughout this year that I wasn't going to get one, and I'll explain all that in another video as well. But yeah, I'm officially a maths graduate at Cambridge, which is quite a nice thing to say. So we grabbed wasabi, which I think I seem to eat a lot in most of my videos, but it's because I treat myself a lot. Maybe a bit too much, but it's exam season, we can get away with it. I then hit a bit of a slump. I just got really, really tired, and it was probably because I was working myself too hard. So I gave myself a bit of a break and then got back into it. And as I said earlier, breaks are so important. This was the view from my room. Again, I tried to film a time lapse and it kind of just looks like a picture. So enjoy this lovely picture of the view from my room, which I'm sure you haven't seen at all before. It's not like I post it in every single one of my videos. I then got back and just finished writing up a few things that I wanted to look at, and I managed to get a lot done in the day. I was really proud of what I got done. I got way more done than I expected, and I left with something that I wanted to get done today, but sometimes you need to know your limits. And looking at all of this, I had to summarise all of this, and it was already summarised in itself, and there was just no way I was doing that on a very tired brain. So instead, I decided to call it a day with my dissertation and move on to doing a little bit of editing, which I always really enjoy as a bit of a breakaway. So that has been the video today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, subscribe and comment, and I will see you all in the next video.